Hello everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Hope you guys are keeping well and safe. And of course, if this is the first video you've seen since the festive period, I really hope you enjoyed yourself, spent some good time with friends and family. And it may well be the final Talking Wolves video of 2021. So happy new year and all the best for 2022 as well, and fingers crossed it's successful for everybody watching this video. But today guys, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be ranking on a little tier list, ranking our summer signings so far. Now I know our friends over at the Talk Norwich City channel did something very similar to this, so a big shout out to them. Double checked with them to see if it's alright that we do the same, and they said yeah, go for it. So we've got, I believe, 5 players to look at today. 5 players that I'm going to be talking about, giving my thoughts on and ranking them. I'm going to do just a general grading system, A, B, C and D. A being the very best and D being obviously the lowest as well. And I think we'll probably go in... Let's do it from highest value that we've paid down to the lowest. So we're going to be starting with Ryan Aït-Nouri. Left back, we of course had him on loan already, so we already sort of knew what we were getting from Angers. But the club, according to Transfermarkt, spent 9.99 million on him. So let's say £10 million on Aït-Nouri. And I was looking forward to it. I was looking forward to seeing him hit the ground running from day one this season. But he struggled to get into the team, didn't he? Marseille, for some reason, Bruno Lage preferred Marseille over Aït-Nouri. Even in pre-season, we didn't really see Aït-Nouri, for me, enough in his preferred position as a left back or left wing back. We saw him play further up the pitch at times as well. So I was a little bit worried that we'd spent this money and we were possibly not going to see Aït-Nouri in the team at all. Had a few problems in his first few games, but his most recent games, guys, he's been phenomenal. Against the likes of Liverpool and so on. If Aït-Nouri didn't go off the pitch, well, I think we all know that Wolves probably would have got something against Liverpool at Molineux a few weeks ago. So he's been really good. Fortunately, a couple of injuries here and there have sort of held him back a little bit. I think for him as a player, this is very difficult. I think I'm going to go with a B for Aït-Nouri, only because I think some performances could be slightly better, but overall it's been very good. A lot of you may well be in the comment section saying this should be an A, and I think it's probably right. For him as a player, good. I think the fee itself is good. However, the clause that Wolves have included in it, I believe Angers get 50% of his next sale. He's been linked already with some big clubs. Madrid, PSG, a couple of Premier League clubs have been looking at him as well. So I think we need to try and get rid of that clause as soon as we can, because we could genuinely have a real superstar on our hands. But for Ryan Aït-Nouri, I'm going to go with a solid B to kick us off. Now we move on to the goalkeeper, José Sá. Signed from Olympiacos for about £7.2 million, according to Transfermarkt. Now, with Sá, I think it was one of them. We had Patricio, who at the time we all thought was a good goalkeeper. Obviously, Portugal #1, played a huge amount of games for Portugal. And Mourinho, pretty much from day one at Roma, said he wanted Patricio. So we knew it was going to happen, and we pretty much knew that José Sá was going to be his replacement. And when it was confirmed, a lot of fans were, let's say, disappointed with Sá being the man that was going to replace Rui Patricio. You've gone from a goalkeeper there that's been #1 for Portugal for many years, going to José Sá as somebody who doesn't even make the Portugal squad. So fans were disappointed. However, a lot of fans have eaten their own words this season because José Sá has been phenomenal. You've seen even this week in Sky Sports in the United Kingdom, Gary Neville has put José Sá as his signing of the season so far. Sá has been that good. If you look at his goals conceded compared to his expected goals against, it's phenomenal. He's been so good for Wolves. The amount of saves he's made. Look, I'm not going to say he's been immaculate and perfect, because I would argue right at the start of the season, the game against Manchester United, he should have stopped the goal for Greenwood, but he's more than made up for that in some of the saves that he's made. He's won games on his own so far this season, and until now, I don't think we've realised how you know, how much of an, in my opinion, he's been an upgrade on Rui Patricio. I was a huge fan of Patricio, but there were little things here and there, little mistakes, and mistakes that I've seen him make now since he's moved to Italy. And Jose Sarr overall is just a little bit more tidy. He's not scared to come off his line. You know, he likes to come and collect the ball. And even against some of the big teams, he's made some huge saves. Chelsea, probably the most recent one, where he made a cracking stop towards the end of the game. It's got to be an A for Jose Sarr. Due to the value, I think, a lot of people talking about him or Aaron Ramsdale at Arsenal being the signing of the season. But we've signed Jose Sarr for less than a third of what Arsenal paid for Ramsdale. And I understand Ramsdale is younger in English. But in terms of, getting your pound of flesh, Jose Sarr has been a phenomenal signing so far for Wolves, and long may it continue for the next few years or so. Now we move on to Francisco Trincao, on loan from Barcelona. Still very young player, of course, and he's coming on loan. Wolves have got an option to buy. I think it's around £25 million or so on. And I was so excited when this happened. There were very early links, weren't there, at the start of the summer. It went very quiet, and bang, all of a sudden, a Sunday morning, and it was announced. Like I said, I was really excited about this. Thought he was going to be a phenomenal player. But he's coming to the Premier League. Looks a little bit too lightweight for me. You can tell there's something there. But at the moment, it's not quite enough. And unfortunately, I think it's one of those things where maybe similar to the Vitinha deal, where he's not going to quite do enough this season for Wolves to warrant us spending the money on him. But in the back of my mind, I can still probably see him going on to excel and go on to be a really talented footballer elsewhere. Sometimes there are players that either take a year or two to adapt to a certain league, or just aren't good enough for a specific league or nation. You see it quite often. Unfortunately, I think Francisco Trincao may well be one of those players. When he first signed for Wolves, I think there were all the indications that Wolves were going to trigger the deal regardless. But now there's rumours that Wolves could cancel the deal, or Barcelona want him back this month in January. We don't know. But for me, he's just not hit the ground running. It's been quite a disappointing loan spell. There's been games I've watched and I've been really disappointed with him. So I'm going to have to go with D for Trincao. Although, the only saving grace is that we haven't just gone and spent 25 million on him straight away. We have loaned him. And look, there's a long way to go. But this halfway point in the season, I've not been impressed with him. And I've been pretty disappointed with Francisco Trincao so far. So I am going to go with a D. Now, the next one is going to be Gerson Mosquera. According to Transfermarkt, we spent £4.68 million on him from Atlético Nacional in Colombia. I thought it was a little bit less than that, the amount we paid on him. 20 years of age. Pre-season, he was good. Looked really solid. And from what we've seen of him, he looked solid. Even against Spurs in the Carabao Cup, he started off really well. Unfortunately, these injuries at the moment are frustrating. I'm sure frustrating for Mosquera, frustrating for the club, and frustrating for us as fans. It's clear that there's some talent there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how Mosquera can get on for Wolves in the future. I think he's going to be back in training in Feb. So, of course, with the size of our squad at the moment, any player coming back into the squad is a welcome addition. But I think I'm going to have to be very harsh on this one and say a D as well, because in terms of what we've paid, in terms of what we've seen, we haven't seen enough. And at this point in the season, I can't give him any more than a D. The glimpses and the minutes that I've seen him play in pre-season until he got injured, and against Spurs until he got injured, have been okay. They've been good. But I can't give him any. It'd be unfair on Trincao for me to give him any higher than a D, because I haven't seen enough of him. But I'm hoping that he can come back and be a very good addition for this Wolves team. And at 20 years of age, got loads of time left. And fingers crossed we can see him become a top Wolves centre-back in the future. Because I think he would have got plenty of minutes and plenty of game time so far this season if he was going to be fit. And then we move on to the final player, Hwang Hee-chan, or Hee-chan Hwang. in on loan, 25 years of age, in on loan from RB Leipzig over in the German Bundesliga. On loan, again, another player with an option to buy. I think it's around 12 to 13 million pounds or euros. Hit the ground running really quickly, didn't he, Hwang? And I think he's, been okay. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Is he a top goal scorer at the moment? I think he's got to be up there, let me check. He's scored 4 goals off the top of my head. If we look in terms of goals, yeah, he's still, at the time of recording, 30th of December, he's still our top goal scorer with 4 goals. And then you got Saïss and Jimenez with 3. So in all competitions, 4 goals. I've got to say, he's been poor more than good in games. He's had more poor games than good games, in my opinion, if I'm going to be brutally honest there. And of course, now he's injured, so we're not going to see him play in a Wolves shirt until at least Feb. My thinking is, though, if he can come back in Feb and still notch another 4 or 5 goals, that'll mean he's got 8 or 9 goals. I think he's worth the money then. He's worth the 12, 13 million quid or whatever we're going to spend. I wouldn't pay it now. I wouldn't pay it in January. There's been rumours that we're going to trigger that in January. I wouldn't pay that now. In games, he's certain games, he looked a real live wire. And you can see why he's been spoke about quite heavily in the past. But for me, there have been other games where he's been almost anonymous. The Villa game in particular, I know it was a new system that he wouldn't have played in before for Wolves. Next to Adama Traore, who I'd imagine isn't fantastic to play alongside in a front two. But then he also gave the ball away for Villa's second goal. Yeah, I'm going to give Hwang a C. And again, that could be harsh on me. But I think a C is fair considering, he's better than a D for sure. Because of the goals he's got. And maybe with him being a top goal scorer, I should maybe nudge him up to a B. Do I put him up to a B? No, I'm gonna be quite strict and keep him at a C, Hwang Hee-chan. Mainly because I think there have been more poor performances than good performances. But there's still something there. There's still, if he can grab me 3, 4, 5 more goals in the remainder of the season when he's back in Feb, he's worth the money. And I think at times he's almost been the player that we needed to replace Diogo Jota, and it's a shame it's come maybe a year or two too late. And I fingers crossed he can come back from his injury and we can see him firing on all cylinders again. But this does give the opportunity to the likes of Adama, to Podence, to even Trincao to come into the team and take that place and hopefully do well. And maybe even Neto could come back at a very similar time to Hwang Hee-chan. So there's going to be loads of competition for those places. So overall, I've got Jose Sarr as an A, Ryan Aït-Nouri as a B, Hwang Hee-chan as a C, and Gerson Mosquera and Trincao as a D. Guys, let me know your thoughts on those. I don't think there's anybody else that I've missed of note. These are all the senior additions. Of course, there's other players that we've signed and then gone out on loan. But these are all the senior additions. Hopefully you guys agree with me. If not, do let me know in the comment section down below. Have a fantastic new year, guys. We'll be back for all the content for the, fingers crossed, the Manchester United game. Some more transfer content as well, guys. It would be lovely if Wolves can surprise us with a New Year's Day signing. Who knows? But be sure to hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And until next time, I'll see you all very, very soon.